In this video, we'll take a look at managing virtual networks, which is a feature of Hyper-V that allows the virtual machines on any given host system to network just like any other computer. Now, to illustrate that, I'm on a virtual machine right now, and I've launched a browser, and I have full internet access on this virtual machine. So, despite the fact that the virtual machine does not have an actual network adapter, you can effectively use the real adapter of the host system to allow the virtual machines to network through that. And that's a component that is known as a virtual switch. Now, you don't have to do anything with actual switches here. Again, it's just something that you configure on the Hyper-V host system to set up a virtual network that the virtual machines can use. So to do that, let me switch back to the Hyper-V console here. And what you'll need to do is to right-click on the host system and choose Virtual Switch Manager. Now, there is already a switch configured in here. This, of course, is the one that is being used to provide internet access to the virtual machines. So we'll leave that one as it is. And there's also a private switch configured here called NAT. I'll leave that one there as well. But the idea behind any virtual switch is to set up a configuration so that the virtual machines can network. Now, that said, there are three levels, if you will, or three different types of virtual switches. So if we go back to the new virtual switch option, which is the default when you open this window, it gives you the ability to create a virtual switch, and there are three types: external, internal, and private. And as you click on each one, it gives you a description down below. But effectively, an external virtual switch means that virtual machines can fully network just like any other real system on the actual network, up to and including internet access, provided, of course, that the host system has internet access. But in short, it means that virtual machines can at least network as much as the host system can. An internal virtual switch means that the virtual machines can network with each other and the physical host computer, but nothing beyond that. So if you want the virtual machines to be a little more isolated, then you can set up an internal switch. And finally, the private switch only allows the virtual machines to network with each other. They cannot see the host system. So again, this is your call, but it just comes down to what you need the virtual machines to do. Sometimes you do want them to be isolated from the rest of the network. Sometimes you want them to be able to fully network. So it's your choice. Now, I will show you how to create the external, but you cannot bind the single adapter on this particular host to more than one external switch. So I'll still go through the process here. I'll choose external. Then I'll choose Create Virtual Switch, and we'll just call this something like External Switch. And you could put in the notes section down here something like Full Internet Access for Virtual Machines. Okay, now that's up to you. Then you simply choose External Network below. And if there is more than one physical network adapter in this host system, you could hit the drop down here and choose a different adapter. But that's all I need to do. Now, if for any reason I needed to change this in the future, you could still leave all the properties as they are, but you could actually change it to an internal or a private network, perhaps just temporarily if you needed to. So at this point, all I would have to do is click on OK. But again, I cannot bind the single adapter in this physical host system to more than one external virtual switch. So I'm just going to cancel this, but that's all you need to do to set up an external switch. Okay, so I'll cancel here, and I'll go right back into the Virtual Switch Manager, and this time we'll create an internal switch. Okay, so I'll choose Internal, click Create Virtual Switch, and we'll just call this one Internal Switch, and maybe under the notes we'll say Access to the host and other VMs. Okay, so in this case, we don't need to choose a network adapter because the virtual machines are not actually touching the real network. They can simply see the host system because they already reside on the host. So all we have to do is choose internal here, or at least verify that internal is chosen, and click on OK. That's it. Now we've got our internal switch created. Let's go right back in, and we'll choose Virtual Switch Manager. And this time we'll create a private switch. So let's create a virtual switch. We'll call this one private switch. And we'll verify that private network is chosen. And perhaps under the notes, we'll just say access to other VMs only. Okay. And then we'll click on OK. Now, creating the switches doesn't really do much in terms of the virtual machines themselves. So you have to set each virtual machine to use any given switch. So right now, the Windows 10 system that I have is already running, and I can leave it that way, but let's just double check. We'll right click and we'll go to the settings here. And then assuming that a network adapter has been configured for this virtual machine, you simply select the adapter and then you specify which switch it should use. So I can hit the drop down here now and I can choose my internal switch or my private switch. And of course, depending on which choice I make, that will determine how this system is able to network. Now, I'll leave this one as it is, but let's go ahead and go to another virtual machine, such as this Windows 8 virtual machine, and we'll right-click and we'll go to Settings, and let's imagine that I don't want this one to have internet access. Well, once again, I can choose the network adapter, I can hit the drop-down, and I can simply say that this one maybe is only going to use the internal switch. Click on OK, and that's it. That Windows 8 virtual machine will not be able to access the internet now, but it will be able to access the host system as well as the other virtual machines that are running on this host. And if for any reason you need to change that, just go to its settings again, go to the network adapter, and maybe set it to the private switch. Again, you can change this at any point depending on your needs. Okay, so again, there's no actual switch that you need to work with. It's just a configuration option that allows the virtual machines to network, and it's just up to you to determine what level of networking each of those virtual machines will have.